changed how the papacy looked, sounded, and acted. And now, even in death, Pope Francis is reshaping what it means to say goodbye to the head of the Roman Catholic Church. This Saturday, the world will gather in Vatican City for a funeral like no other, modest, humble, and deeply symbolic. Presidents, prime ministers, and hundreds of thousands of mourners will descend on Rome for a final farewell, not to a monarch, but to a man who always called himself a shepherd. Let's break down everything we know: who's attending, how the ceremony will unfold, and why this funeral marks a powerful departure from Vatican tradition. The funeral of Pope Francis will take place this Saturday at 10 a.m. local time in the Vatican, that's 8 a.m. GMT. But unlike previous popes, this won't be a grand affair. In 2024, the pontiff quietly amended the rite of burial for Roman pontiffs, the official protocol for papal funerals, stripping away centuries of formality. Only one coffin will be used instead of the traditional three, and instead of grand titles like Supreme Pontiff of the Universal Church, he will be referred to in simpler terms: Bishop of Rome, Pope, Pastor, or Roman Pontifex. These changes weren't made by the Church after his death. They were initiated by Francis himself as part of his vision of a less hierarchical, more grounded church. According to Archbishop Diego Ravelli, the intent was clear: to remind the world that the Pope is first and foremost a disciple of Christ, not a worldly leader. While the ceremony may be simple, the crowd will be anything but small. US President Donald Trump, UN Secretary General Antonio Guterres, and Ukrainian President Zelensky are among the many world leaders expected, and though Russian President Vladimir Putin will not attend, a delegation from China is confirmed. These aren't just diplomatic formalities. As the head of the Vatican, a sovereign entity with a seat at the UN and spiritual leader to over 1.4 billion Catholics, the Pope's funeral carries immense global significance. Italy, which surrounds the Vatican geographically, expects at least 200,000 foreign visitors to Rome, but many believe that figure could climb higher, possibly nearing the 4 million who came for Pope John Paul II's funeral in 2005. Still, context matters. John Paul II reigned for 26 years, and his native Poland was geographically close to Italy, enabling large-scale travel. Pope Francis, though immensely popular, led for 12 years, and his native Argentina lies much farther afield. Cardinal Giovanni Battista Re, now 91 and the Dean of the College of Cardinals, will lead the funeral mass, offering prayers, Bible readings, and the final commendation of the Pope's soul to God. In true Francis fashion, the ceremony will be multilingual, capturing the diversity of the global church. Main prayers will be conducted in Latin and Italian, while Bible readings will be heard in Italian, Spanish, and English. Additional prayers are expected in Arabic, Polish, and Chinese, among other languages. And then comes a striking departure from centuries of tradition. Pope Francis won't be buried in the Vatican. Instead, his final resting place will be the Basilica of St. Mary Major, a church outside the Vatican walls that he personally cherished. He will be the first pope buried there since the 1600s and the first in over 100 years to be interred outside Vatican grounds. In his last testament, made public just this Monday, Francis requested that his tomb be in the ground, simple, without particular ornamentation, with only one word inscribed: Franciscus, his papal name, in Latin. Francis's choice to reshape his own funeral is more than a personal statement, it's a message to the church. From his first appearance as Pope in 2013 wearing plain white vestments to his insistence on being called Bishop of Rome, his leadership consistently rejected ostentation in favor of service and modesty. As Vatican journalist Christopher White put it, in death he offers one final lesson in symbolism, a church walking humbly with the people. So while the world bids farewell to Pope Francis this weekend, it's also witnessing a bold reminder of who he truly was, not a ruler, but a reformer. And that might just be the legacy he wanted most.